people who belong to the boating fraternity, or is it a sorority too, have all kinds of fun. Looking at them now, you'd hardly suspect there was a serious side to boating, and yet small boatmen manage to acquire an amazing variety of skills, many of which can help save lives in times of emergency. Mariners take these skills for granted, but civil defense officials have other ideas. They're combing the country today for specialized volunteers, and defense planners know that hands which can repair the canvas on a fender are hands that can sew a tent or tarpaulin in time of disaster. From Monday to Friday, this man may work at a desk, a production line, or a store counter. But in his leisure moments on the waterfront, he combines his knowledge of many primitive arts: ship's carpentry, line handling, marlin spike seamanship, with a working knowledge of such modern mysteries as electrical circuits, internal combustion engines, scientific aids to weather forecasting, piloting, navigation, and radio communication. He is often a good man with antiseptics, splints, and bandages. And what is more, he can cook. Yes, food for six from a vest pocket kitchen. To sightseers on the shore, who don't know a binnacle from a barnacle, this skipper may seem nothing more than a seagoing playboy. Yet in an hour of disaster, caused by man or nature, his sea bag of merciful skills may be their mortal salvation. Rescuing his fellow man is old stuff to the small boat mariner, and the size of the job seems to make no difference. It can be a pair of small children, or the rescue of an army trapped on the beaches of Dunkirk. An armada of 900 small boats, many of them manned by weekend sailors, saved 337,000 Tommies from certain death or capture. That was back in 1940. But last year, this year, every year, victims of floods, hurricanes, and waterfront disasters are saved by the skills of the mariner. The rescue may be in the raging waters of a river at flood stage, the storm-lashed coast of New England, or an island community isolated by the collapse of a mainland bridge. But whatever the emergency, if men and boats can help, they will be there. This crisis was caused by an act of God, a tornado. At any time in the future, it may be caused by an act of man, an enemy armed with thermonuclear weapons. Should this happen in any area near a navigable river, lake, or ocean, the front line of civil defense will need the skills, the versatility, and the courage of big men in small boats.
Civil defense is a form of national life insurance, something we hope we'll never have to use. But it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. May we have the lights off, please? Remember these scenes. We have to face the fact that Pearl Harbor can happen again. This time in the very heart of the mainland. Not merely with TNT bombs, but with nuclear weapons. Other nations have H-bombs, and they have the intercontinental aircraft to deliver them. It would be suicidal to assume that these weapons will never be used against the United States. May we have the lights now, please? A 10-megaton hydrogen bomb exploding in or over this waterfront city will completely devastate an area 4 miles in all directions from ground zero. It will have the blast effect of 10 million tons of TNT, plus deadly radiation, plus heat so intense it must be measured in thousands of degrees. Beyond this central blast and heat area will be another 4-mile wide band of severe destruction, extending even to some of our suburban communities. And still another 4-mile band in which the damage will be moderate. Light damage, broken windows, torn shingles, and many fires will extend even beyond this third zone. The best possible defense against such a weapon striking the heart of your city is to be somewhere else. That's right, complete evacuation of the target city before the attack occurs. The Air Force is establishing a distant early warning detection system to alert every American city from the time enemy bombers appear on our radar screens. With good civil defense planning, plus practice, all or most of the people in our cities can be evacuated in a matter of hours. In passenger cars, trucks, buses, trains, boats, and airplanes. Evacuation can save millions from the effects of blast and heat. But after an H-bomb attack, there's the additional problem of fallout. Fallout is radioactive dust resulting from a nuclear explosion on or near the ground. It rises to a height of 15 miles or more, and dangerous concentrations may be carried by prevailing winds as far as 200 miles. Fallout, which may or may not be visible, can be fatal to humans or animals. So another task of civil defense is to warn people in areas where fallout may be present, enabling them to seek cover. Civil defense in an enemy attack will be directed from a main control center. Actual field operations will be carried out by Civil Defense Services, which will be in constant communication with headquarters. In a waterfront city, one or more of these command posts may well be in the hands of small craft mariners, with headquarters in the office of an outlying marina, like this one, or perhaps a yacht club. Here, Civil Defense will team up with the Coast Guard, which is responsible for all watercraft operations, vessels, harbors, and shore operations during such an emergency. The post, at a relatively safe distance from the city, is the control center for water operations. A number one concern is the availability and readiness of all types of vessels for evacuation duty. The vessels in the harbor of a large city could evacuate many thousands of people, providing lodging and feeding services as well. In the days and weeks following an attack, there is the crucially important job of surveying damage outside the area of total destruction and locating facilities that can be put back into operation.
6th Ward, Howard Street filtering station destroyed by fire. Collingwood telephone building intact except for glass damage. Folsom's warehouse collapsed from blast. Woodrow Wilson School demolished by blast. I graduated from there.
Jack, have you contacted Yacht Mabel yet?
They don't respond to our signal. You must be working a different frequency.
The headquarters needs a relay station in the North Bay area. Now, Yacht Mabel is anchored there, but we can't contact her.
She's 63 foot of the 606. She's a communication center in that area. I'll call her and use Blinker if necessary.
Good.
Look, Chief, I've been trying to...
The man we're looking for? I guess so. Where are you guys from? Mars? Very funny. We're the radiological team that's to go on the Beaver Creek slip. We've been promised a boat. Who promised you a boat?
Here's a message about these guys. Came in just a minute ago.
On a sign frequency.
Flanagan?
Right here, Chief.
Can you take these men up Beaver Creek slip?
Coast Guard 63606. Coast Guard 4, zebra, able. I have one message for you.
Well, if you men aren't afraid of getting a little wet, I'm your boy.
Go.
One message for you. Over. 606. Coast Guard 63606.
Chief.
Yes, Tubby. What do you want?
Chief, I've been wondering, could I be transferred to one of them food boats?
If you are part of this peacetime picture, if you know boats either as a hobby or profession, you're needed in civil defense. And you're needed now. because tomorrow's teamwork is only as good as today's practice. In many an emergency, the only way to reach certain points is the waterway. Here, a crew of men leave to repair a phone cable which can no longer be reached by land. If you are a skipper, this may be you and your boat. Maybe it will be you instead of Flanagan who goes on this mission. If so, you'll need civil defense training.
Monitor Abel Baker. Beaver Creek, section 24, headed west. 2 paces from shore, reading 3.
Okay, 2 paces from shore, reading 3.
Read you loud and clear, 2 paces from shore, reading 3. Paces from shore, reading 10.
Women with marine skills can serve in civil defense. In a post-attack emergency, the ability to communicate ranks side by side with the ability to go places. If your boat has ship-to-shore equipment, you may be a key link in a communications network. Equally important, power squadron members and their boats are needed in civil defense. Yes, there's a civil defense job for every seaman's skill and for every seaman's instincts. You may spend a day or a week ferrying supplies to keep the hungry lines moving. In an emergency such as this, you'll get one break. You'll be close to food, but you'll probably be too busy to eat it.
The battleground of a future war may be your own city. You and your boat may actually mean the difference between life and death for thousands of otherwise helpless hometown neighbors. You are needed if you are the owner of a powerboat, an experienced small craft mariner, any person actively identified with marine facilities, such as a yacht club, marina, or boatyard. To enroll yourself, your boat, your club, or organization, get in touch with your local civil defense office or local headquarters of your U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary.